Hey crafty friends, this is Jenny from crafttestdummies.com, and today we're going to take a look at the Aqua Flow brushes from Tonic Studios. Let's take a look. Hey, let's take a look at these Nuvo Aqua brush markers. These are pretty cool and exciting because they are like a liquid watercolor in a pen. And what you'll see when you get them, by the way, there's usually one of those rings. Let me show you. When you get them, they actually come with a ring in them, which will keep you from opening them up and having them splurp all over everywhere. So I already removed all of mine for review purposes, but don't forget to remove the ring before you put them together for use. But as you can see, it's a nice big barrel brush. It's tapered on one end like a paintbrush might be, and you have the color indicator both in the cap and on the barrel. If you want, you can park the cap on the end so that you don't lose it and it doesn't roll around. You also see a very bold brush. So this is a lot like a water brush nib, and the end is, I would say maybe about 1/2 inch, and it is very juicy, and I'm going to show you on this paper so that I don't get ink all over my thumbnail. But you see how I can separate the bristles out, and it has a very bold brush. So it's kind of here. Can you see that? I think you can. But the important thing, do you know that this is an actual brush tip, not a felt nib? So let me uncap a few more and I will show you some swatching. Okay, so I just want to show you that this is a product that you can use on manila paper, watercolor paper, or a regular cardstock. And you have to think about it like you're using a watercolor brush in your hand in a barrel. So it's very wet, it's very fluid. You may or may not be able to see that it actually takes a minute to soak in and to dry. This is a water-based product, so when you add a little bit of water, they will absolutely move and blend. Of course, the effect is more pronounced on a watercolor paper. This is, again, just a manila card, but you can see that the color lifts up right away and starts to move around. So, by the way, these are not shimmery. These are just regular colors, and I'd like to show you the swatches. Okay, so what we have here are your swatches. This is bright white cardstock so that you can see the colors really well, and they are yummy. I have to tell you, this spiced ginger is like my favorite marigold orangey yellow. But you have a true red, yellow, orange. These are sold, by the way, in sets, so they don't necessarily all come together. They come in packs. So be aware that I just arrange them in the Roy G. Biv order because that's what I like. The black is a nice, true dark black and would be suitable for, almost like a sumi-e style of lettering, but it's really, really pretty. And just again here on another piece of paper, I swatched them out for you again, showing you the broad line that you can make and also the thin line with the colors. Super, super pretty. But let me show you how it looks actually in some samples. So this is a piece of watercolor paper that I have been playing with, and I swatched some out and then I did some spritzing and some drizzling because you're going to want to see how this moves. So this has been dry a while, but again, because this is almost like using watercolor paper, like watercolor paints, if I respritz them, they reactivate. Did you see how this starts to move and flow all over again? So you can put them down and then go ahead. I love this effect, by the way. If I just use the tip, it kind of bleeds in. I don't get as much concentrated color this way, but you can squeeze the barrel and get a few drips. I like real abstract work, so this makes me really, really happy. And of course, you can mix this with sparkly mediums as well. So if you have the clear glitter pen or you've got a shimmer spray, you can make these glittery, but they move and they flow really beautifully. I'm going to show you just a little bit right here. I'm going to kind of squeeze that down. And you saw I got a nice kind of thick, juicy line. And if I want, I can use a water brush or my mister to kind of move these around a little bit. So really, it's just like having liquid pH Martins, but in a pen form. And if you're familiar with the Jane Davenport product that they sell at Michael's, this is very, very, very similar to that. And it just makes these beautiful, vibrant backgrounds. Now, you can also use it for stamping. I stamped out an image in waterproof ink, and then I just used the pen to kind of move it around a little bit and a little bit of extra water to kind of create some subtle layers. So you can use it in a more controlled environment as well. And if you want a super controlled environment, you can also use it kind of as a coloring medium. So what I did here though is I actually took just a little plastic dish and I put a couple drops in because again, this is very, very, very concentrated. So you don't have to use it right out of the pen if you don't want to. Then I took a water brush and I diluted it just a smidge like so. And then I can go back in and actually paint my berries like this. So I really recommend having a water brush handy because these are such vibrant colors that it's almost a shame to use them full strength, especially with something like the purple, which is really, really dark. Here I've got a little bit on my craft mat and I can go ahead and dilute it just how much I want. So if I don't want the super dark color, I can go ahead and just dilute it out a little bit and get some really nice lighter tones. And again, if I felt like it, I could mix this with a sparkly medium and get even more gradations of color as well. Just wanted to share this little sample. I spritzed some watercolor paper with plain water and then just dipped the nib into the little puddles and let it spray and move. Add a little spritz of water on top to encourage it. I think that might have had a little shimmer in it as well. But I just want to show you how really vibrant and beautiful the colors can be. So I think that these are really well suited for things like mixed media, which by the way, if you go ahead and use them on paper and then spray or drip on top, you're going to get this kind of watercolor effect, which also is really handy. So these are really well suited for mixed media art techniques, which then of course you can use for card making, scrapbooking, rubber stamping, etc., etc. So I think they're really fun. I keep them on my table so I can kind of reach for that little mixy color. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and have a crafty day.